The reason why you feel like you've tried everything and yet you still feel stuck is because there's something that you just don't want to face. Something that every time it comes for you to face that thing, no matter what the modality is, whether it's self-help, whether it's therapy, whether it's religion, no matter what it is, something that every time it gets bumped up against, you say to yourself, unconsciously or consciously, I need to try something else. There's something that you're trying to protect yourself from feeling. And it's not until you deal with that thing that you don't want to feel that you're just going to keep running. So I'm going to pull this out from my book, Already Whole, as part of this Read and React series. Okay, now we're getting to the heart of it. You mastered avoidance, crafted walls, and worn the mask. And for what? What are you really protecting? Because all that energy you're spending running and hiding, it's not about keeping others out. It's about keeping yourself from feeling. You're not protecting your vibe, your peace, or your productivity. You're protecting yourself from your own emotions. And here's the thing about emotions. They don't knock politely and wait to be invited in. They show up unannounced, demanding to be felt. And the longer you avoid them, the louder they get. The longer you avoid what it is that you don't want to feel, the louder it's going to get. You think you're strong, don't you? And to be fair, you are. But let's talk about the version of strength you built. You've convinced yourself that strength means keeping it all together, never backing down, never showing vulnerability. But that's not strength. That's fear in disguise. Let me tell you about some of the strongest people that I've ever met. Gang leaders, CEOs, high achievers with reputations to protect. You know what they all have in common? They crumble the moment you ask them to face their feelings. I've seen gang leaders who'd throw hands without hesitation break down when you ask them to face their pain. I've worked with executives who run billion-dollar companies but can't have a real conversation with their spouse. That's not strength. That's avoidance. See, especially when I walk into prisons and I'm working with murderers or gang leaders, and I tell them, I said, the truth is that beneath that hard shell, you softer than a wet piece of bread. And you who watching this video right now, if you are projecting any type of strength, the truth is underneath, you're softer than a wet piece of bread. But you put on this hard shell because it's what kept you from feeling things that you didn't want to feel. Usually the harder someone is, the softer they are on the inside. And when I'm talking to really hardcore people, I'll say to them, especially ones that project all this strength, I say, you know, I can prove it to you. Just let me talk to your girlfriend, or let me talk to your wife or your boyfriend. Because what they'll say is, well, they're not like that with me. And that's only because you feel safe around that person. So let's be real here. The strength that you project, more than likely 9 times out of 10, isn't real strength. It's fear in disguise. Here's the real cost of protecting yourself. You keep everyone out, including yourself. See, loneliness is not about not being around other people or having someone in your life. There's a difference between alone and lonely. Lonely is without connection. And when you are unwilling to feel things that you don't want to feel, you disconnect yourself from yourself. You build walls so high that no one can climb in. You build walls so high that no one can climb them. Not your kids, not your spouse, not even the version of you that just wants to breathe. And that's the saddest part. You tell yourself you're doing it to survive, but what you're really doing is shrinking. You're so focused on keeping pain out that you end up keeping peace out too. See, I was talking to a young man the other day, and he was asking me about his emotions. And I said, the goal is to feel everything, but hold on to nothing. See, you felt things, but then you held on to them. But what's healthy mentally and emotionally is to feel everything, but hold on to nothing. And feeling everything means not avoiding it, but allowing yourself to feel it. Let me ask you this, and I want you to sit with it. What's the thing you've been so afraid to feel? Is it shame, anger, grief? Maybe it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, or being seen for who you really are. And I want to clarify that, seen for who you really are. Who you really are is not the sense of inadequacy that you feel deep down underneath, that I'm not good enough. That's the lie. That's not who you are. Whatever it is, it's not going to destroy you. I promise. The emotions you're avoiding, they're not your enemy. They're just messengers. They're trying to tell you something, but you've been so busy running that you haven't stopped to listen. The ironic thing is that the peace and freedom you've been chasing are waiting for you on the other side of those emotions. You think avoiding your feelings will keep you safe, when it's actually the very thing keeping you stuck. What if you stop running? What if instead of pushing those emotions down, you let them rise and surface? What if you face them with the same courage that you bring to the boardroom, the courtroom, or the stage? I can't repeat this enough. The freedom you want doesn't come from running. It comes from facing what you've been running from. I've helped many people get off drugs and change their lives, but it wasn't by motivating them or helping them change their beliefs. It was just making them face the shit that they didn't want to face. I let folks know when I walk into a room or when I facilitate a workshop or a class or a retreat, I'm going to reach up in that mental closet of yours where you've hidden all the shit that you want to avoid, and I pull it down and you face it. And in that moment, we're either going to have a breakup or a breakthrough. Because that is the only way you're going to find the peace that you're looking for, is to face it and to see it for the lie and the fallacy that it is. All the things that you're afraid to face, all the stuff that you're afraid to bring up, it's because you're still looking at it through a child's eyes. A mature adult knows that when people do things to us or don't do things for us, it's not about you. It's about them. What you're afraid of, the thought of it is more scary than actually facing it. Period. Avoidance might feel like a relief in the moment, a quick fix, a distraction, a way to catch your breath. But it's not free. It costs you energy, connection, and most of all, peace. You're borrowing from yourself, taking out emotional loans with sky-high interest rates. Reality check. Avoidance doesn't erase what you're running from. It just pushes it down. But like trying to hold a beach ball underwater, it doesn't stay there. The more you push, the harder it fights to rise. And when it does, it's messy. It spills into your relationships, your decisions, your health, and every part of your life. When you avoid sadness, anger, and fear, you're not just numbing the bad, you're numbing the good too. Joy, love, connection. They get blocked right along with the pain. You end up living your life on mute, never fully feeling anything. Sure, you avoid the lows, but you miss the highs too. Avoidance doesn't just steal your joy, it steals your relationships. You can't connect deeply with others if you're not connected to yourself. The walls you build to keep pain out also keeps love out. And let's be honest, the people closest to you feel it. Your kids feel it when you're physically present but emotionally checked out. Your partner feels it when you shut down instead of opening up. Your friends feel it when your "I'm fine" doesn't match the look in your eyes. And you feel it too. In the quiet moments when the distractions fade and it's just you and the ache you can't outrun. You tell yourself you're strong, that you're holding it all together, but deep down you know there's a cost and you're the one paying it. And here's the part most people miss. Avoidance doesn't just affect your personal life, it also sabotages your success. How many opportunities have you passed up because of fear? How many conflicts have you avoided that could have led to breakthroughs? How much energy have you wasted managing the emotions you won't face? Think about it. How much more powerful or more impactful or more present could you be if you weren't dragging this invisible weight behind you? Avoidance might feel like control, but it's actually the opposite. It's a leash holding you back from your full potential. It's a leash holding you back from remembering who you are. And it's not until you remember who you are that you will realize just how much potential there is in your tiny little finger. Because you don't have potential. You are potential itself. But the thing that you avoid, the stories you keep telling yourself, are keeping you from remembering that. You cannot outrun yourself. That's why you're going to keep running in circles. That's why you're going to try another modality and 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 another one. It don't take this long. Ending the suffering or the misery that you feel or that you deal with, the constant repeating of the loops and the patterns and all of that. It don't take long. It takes you to face the shit that you don't want to face. It takes you putting on your big girl, your big boy panties and facing it. Because when you look at it, you see it. Whatever it is, you look at it and you'll see it for how small it actually is. You'll see the illusion of the thing that you're afraid of. You'll see right through it. Avoidance isn't protection, it's a cage. And the key to freedom isn't running faster, it's stopping, turning around, and facing what you've been running from. But there's another layer to avoidance, and it has to do with the ego. And we'll discuss that in part 2.